What a boss Nick Sirianni is, rocking the Dream Chasers chain after last night's thumping of the New York Giants in the NFL divisional round. Philadelphia, oh so good against New York, putting the beat down on the Giants. Final score 38-7. And with everybody tailgating pretty much all throughout the day in South Philadelphia, a lot of Philadelphia and Eagles fans worldwide looking and feeling like that after a day-long party. We are too here on Eagles Now. Appreciate all of you for watching. Hope you're having a great Sunday, and how could you not be, because the Birds victorious on to the NFC Championship game, second time in 5 years. And what a great organization. They have now advanced to an NFC title game for the 7th time in 21 years. For a guy like me, 31 years old, growing up in Westchester, I've been able to see this franchise have so much success. It's been a spectacular performance under owner Jeffrey Lurie, to have this franchise so well run in a position to make deep playoff runs a high percentage of the time, because it's so difficult to do at the NFL level. Before we dive into today's show, just want to really recap what transpired at the Link after the Eagles were just really flawless on both sides of the football. I want to thank everybody for tuning into our watch party last night. We broke records. Most super chats all time with 1,400. Most views of all time for a watch party here on Eagles Now of 47,000 all throughout the night. And we're closing in on a milestone that means a lot to me, because we work 7 days a week. I do as well, to give you the best Eagles coverage on the daily here on Eagles Now. And this season, it's been an honor to host this show. We're 160 people away from 40,000 subscribers. If you want Eagles analysis on the daily year-round, we don't take breaks during the offseason either. Lock us in. It's also the best fan experience outside of being at the Lincoln Financial Field for a lot of our watch parties. NFC Championship game watch party will be litty. All right, I do want to start off with this, because there is some buzz about Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce potentially retiring after this season. And I just want to say and make it be known that we have to appreciate Lane Johnson and Jason Kelce. When you think about their tenures in Philadelphia for more than a decade, two anchors along this offensive line. They've been NFL All-Pros. They are future NFL Hall of Famers. And we have an opportunity to continue to solidify those two, their legacies, with another Super Bowl championship, as they're 2 games away from their second Lombardi Trophy in 5 years. You think about their tenures and their runs along this offensive line. They've been team leaders, spectacular players. Their numbers might get retired. They're going to make it to the NFL Hall of Fame. Jason Kelce, still the best center in the game, and he's been for a long time. Lane Johnson, the best right tackle in the game, and he's been for a long time. Let's appreciate and admire what they have meant to this organization, to this city, and to this fan base, as they've overseen and been a part of some historic runs. If they get that second aforementioned Super Bowl championship in the span of 5 years, you can lock them down as two of the most legendary Philadelphia athletes of all time, and they might have already solidified that status. So let's appreciate them while we have them, because we're not sure how long Philadelphia will have Jason Kelce at center, Lane Johnson at right tackle. They could retire after the season. That's something that Jeff McClain talked about in the Philadelphia Inquirer today. And their personalities, who they are as players, who they are in terms of their identity to this organization. Both are tough as nails. They define every bit of what it's like to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Lunch pail to work type of cats, blue-collar dudes, tough, gritty, and will lay their body on the lines to win football games. We saw it last night. They did it last night. Jason Kelce, he's pushing around defenders. He's blocking guys to the ground with one single arm. He's limping too, nursing a little bit of a quad injury. He said after the game, who needs a quad? Lane Johnson, playing with a torn abductor, looked to be in pain. The first drive on a pass set with Kayvon Thibodeau still plays, I think, 97% of the snaps last night. They performed well despite being injured, and they manhandled the Giants' defensive line, and they've been doing that for a really long time. The Eagles utterly dominating the Giants' defensive front that a lot of people wanted to say heading into this football game, they could control the trenches like they did against Minnesota, and they could solely win this football game. It didn't happen. The Eagles rushed for 268 yards, more than 6 yards per pop. They made a statement, they sent a statement, and most impressive win so far in the NFL divisional play and round. It goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And with Jason Kelce year to year at this point, he's been contemplating retirement for a little while now. Lane Johnson's injury history and his retirement thoughts, he said that he only wants to play 2 or 3 more years. Eagles rumors as far as their retirement and their futures with this organization, they're going to continue to simmer, stay hot. That's why we have to appreciate in the now just how special they are. Dexter Lawrence, by the way, non-factor last night amid the New York Giants' struggles at the link as the Eagles just put the beat down on the G-men. The same can be said in terms of the futures. Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, 2 other pillars of this organization for a really long time. Both are set to be 2023 NFL free agents. They could retire. They could move on. Although I'll say this. I know that I criticized Fletcher Cox earlier in the year. He wasn't good. He ended up with 7 sacks. He can still play at a very high level. Brandon Graham has been in the league for more than a decade now. And he ended up being the better pick as compared to Earl Thomas, which was a huge debate at the time. He's just meant more to his team, and he's still in the league as Earl Thomas has gone crazy. It doesn't feel right for them to be in a uniform that's not the midnight green. Pillars of this Eagles organization, led by Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, who, as I said a little bit earlier, have this organization clicking right now. And from a business standpoint, it really is impressive. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, a part of an effort, by the way, held Saquon Barkley to 61 carries on 9 yards. Let's talk about Nick Sirianni here. So Nick Sirianni is at the center of national conversation, and he's getting ripped on social media right now because of him celebrating on the sideline, him rocking the Dream Chasers chain, and him just Dream Chasers, the chain or whatever, from Meek Mill. I guess he got it from him, I would imagine, right? If Meek was at the game or Meek gave the players a Dream Chaser sign and a chain or whatever. But for Nick Sirianni, right, let's get back on track. For me, everybody wants to rip Nick Sirianni here. It's honestly refreshing, and I tweeted this out on my Twitter page, at @Chase_Senior. Feel free to give me a follow. It's taken off a little bit. I tweeted this verbatim. It's refreshing to see an NFL coach actually exude passion and excitement and not be a mundane coach-speak robot who just holds the play sheet with no personality. Nick Sirianni is so Philadelphia, and the thing about Philadelphia, they wouldn't have it any other way. They love how Nick Sirianni is able to relate to the city, and hate if you want out there. Nick Sirianni in 2 years as a head coach, he is 24-12. He's changed the culture of this Eagles locker room. You see how much he is respected by his players, but also, how about when he chest bumped Shane Steichen after, I believe, the Devontae Smith touchdown as the Eagles took a 14-0 lead? That goes to show you that the work environment at the NovaCare complex, with Sirianni being at the center of it, is in a great spot. Players enjoy practicing. Players enjoy being around one another. They've continued to say how special this culture is, and Nick Sirianni has put this special culture in place. Not everybody has to be Bill Belichick or Vince Lombardi, as Belichick doesn't give away or show off a personality during his post-game press conference, and is very smug. Vince Lombardi wearing a suit on the sideline and was very gentlemanly-like. Not everybody has to be the same. For Nick Sirianni to be running up and down the sideline, high-stepping, chest-bumping his players, running into his coaches, dapping up some of the guys on his coaching staff, to tell the official, I know what the F I'm doing here, don't tell me that I can't be here approaching the goal line. I love Nick Sirianni's excitement. I love Nick Sirianni's personality. I love his authenticity, and I love how he's tapped in to this Philadelphia culture of being all in all the time, having a personality, and not backing down from the opponent or giving into national media stereotypes. That's why we love this song here on Eagles Now. And around Philadelphia, nobody likes us. We don't care. And I love how Nick Sirianni doesn't worry about the opinions of others. Keep being you. Keep being a damn good football coach. And now you're 1 win away from making it to a Super Bowl and representing the NFC in Glendale, Arizona. Sirianni, Philadelphia loves you. I know, and we know that you love Philadelphia back. Keep being you, because we appreciate you. Also, good to see him give credit to Jonathan Gannon, by the way, who had the Giants offense on clamps, and Nick Sirianni has now beat Brian Dable 86-29 in the 2 real games that they coached against each other this year. Couple more things to get to here as we're kind of just free-flowing. Just wanted to get some thoughts across in podcast style. Hassan Reddick, his highlights against the Giants, he really took over the game right from the jump. And What a signing Hassan Reddick was by Howie Roseman. 17 and a half sacks in 18 games this year, including the playoffs. And when you have that level of production for $15 million per year, when a lot of other edge rushers and defensive players are making a lot more, like Aaron Donald making $30 million per season, it's a bargain deal. It's a terrific deal for what Hassan Reddick's value has been. And if his name was Micah Parsons, then Hassan Reddick would probably be Defensive Player of the Year. Just watch him play and you'll see and you'll say and come away with these takeaways that the numbers of 17 and a half sacks in 18 games don't even tell the full story. I was watching Baldy's breakdowns this morning on Twitter. I couldn't even sleep. I was so excited about this victory. And Reddick's first explosive step off the ball is tremendous. A sack and a half last night, 1 tackle for loss, 3 quarterback hits. He was all over the place, had a couple of quarterback pressures on Daniel Jones. A pass rush can change the complexion of a football game. Hassan Reddick was a part of that charge last night for an Eagles defensive line that controlled the line of scrimmage. And for this guy to go to Temple, have a great career there under Matt Rule, to be drafted in the first round, to grow up across the bridge in New Jersey, just miles away from Philadelphia, to be a local hometown dude who loves the Birds, to be playing here, having the success that he's having, both individually and as a team, it's special. And that contract, one of the best in the history of this Eagles franchise for the value that they've gotten immediately from Hassan Reddick. And he's still young and is the only player in NFL history to have 10 sacks in 3 straight seasons with 3 different organizations. As for Jalen Hurts here, 112.2 passer rating against the Giants. That is the third highest mark in Eagles franchise postseason history. Nick Sirianni saying after the game, quote, "It's like having Michael Jordan out there. He's your leader. He's your guy." You might look at 16 of 24 for 154 yards for Hurts last night, 2 touchdowns and no picks, and come away with not being impressed with him throwing the football. On the other side of that, I'm not going to just focus in on the numbers and the lack of yards and yards per attempt. I'll talk about the look and the identity of this Eagles offense, which hadn't played well since Week 14 against the Giants, completely changing. Hurts' impact on this offense, absolutely profound last night. And the confidence of the team changed. The play of the team changed. The explosiveness and the nature of that within this offense completely changed. They are a different team with Jalen Hurts. And last night he proved why he's a bona fide MVP candidate. And if he didn't go down, he had the inside track at the award, at least in my opinion, because no player has had more of an impact on their respective team, in the locker room, on the field, than Jalen Hurts. And that's what NFL MVP candidates are all about. As far as the injury, looked pretty healthy to me last night, but of course we'll continue to monitor that status. Continuing on here, and speaking of monitoring the status, as we round out today's show, Eagles now in the NFC Championship game. Second time in 5 years, as we talked about. They will take on the winner of 49ers Cowboys. That's going to determine who the Eagles will host next week in the NFC Championship game. We might do a preview later on today, so make sure you turn on those notifications and subscribe. That would come out, obviously, later tonight after that Niners-Cowboys game. Either way, multiple live shows coming your way this week, and the best Eagles coverage right here on Eagles Now, because our analysis and our coverage, it is going to be top-notch because the stakes are high and we rise up to the occasion when the pressure is on. We'll catch you. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the other NFC divisional game and the AFC matchup as well, and we'll catch you next time here on Eagles Now.